VR Chat, the next frontier. These are the experiences from Gunters' universe. His continuing mission? To seek out and connect with VR devs and passionate enthusiasts. To discuss theories, beliefs, and rhetoric of all kind. And to boldly go where no show has ever gone before.
Hello and welcome to Gunters' Universe. This is the one and only live talk show broadcasting from the metaverse. You can join VR Chat every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific to watch the show and take in the full experience. You can also watch the live stream at hitbox.tv/Gunter444. Tonight I have the pleasure of talking with Ela Darling. She is running an interesting site called VRTube.xxx. As well as she has a YouTube channel, and she has a cool show called Boss Bitches of History. How are you doing, Ela?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm really happy you could join us here. And, you know, look at this. We got a full house here. There's like 40 people with us, and we're just kicking it. This is really cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. This was really sweet to have you on. And, of course, we are joined by my co-host here, Mr. Whiskers. How are you doing tonight? Are you excited to talk to Miss Darling here? Excellent. So I want to talk to you about a few things.
Mike?
Oh, is it not working?
No, Mike.
There we go. It's still It's working now, though, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. So it's always an interesting thing trying to do a live talk show in VR with your headset on, blinded, can't read notes unless I pull the headset up and all that good stuff. So definitely challenging. So yeah, Ela, I want to talk about VR and your work in VR. About your site that you're running. I also want to then talk about the future of porn and then go into some of your other works that you do and then kind of finish things off with your love of geek and all of that and maybe a little bit of personal stuff at the end. So let's dive into the VR stuff that you're doing. When's the first time that you discovered VR?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I mean, early VR when I was a kid, I was always really enthralled by, but I started really being interested in it a couple years ago at E3 here in LA, and I've kind of been hoping to find a way to apply it to porn since then, and then I met my business partner, and he had a lot of talent and a lot of really awesome ideas, and it's just been a really great ride since then. We're really a team, and we're doing lots of really exciting stuff, and it's just super fun.
All right, so we talked about you discovering VR and first trying the Rift at E3. When did you get your first Oculus Rift?
I got my first Oculus Rift last fall. I had been playing with the DK1 that my business partner owns, and I kind of fell in love with it. So when I got the DK2, I was super excited. It was just a whole new world. And
any favorite VR experiences stick out for you? I'm sure you've tried a few things.
Dread Halls makes me scream like a little baby. It's amazing. I can't even finish it. I just fling it off of my head.
That's hilarious. And I think I saw that you went to you've tried the Oculus CV1. How was that, and did you get to try touch as well?
I didn't get to try touch. I was super disappointed, but oh my god, I love the CV1. It's just fucking beautiful. It's breathtaking. It's viscerally compelling and beautiful, and I mean, we talk about immersion all the time to fucking death, but it's so incredibly immersive and just wonderful. I loved it. I cannot wait.
And you also went to SVVR. I think you met our good friend Reverend Kyle there, right?
I love Kyle so much. He is one of my favorite people. I met him before then. I was on his podcast before then, but I met him in person there, and he's just wonderful.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, we have a few people that were at the show that are in here now. Unfortunately, I don't see the good Reverend, but he is no stranger to VR chat. That's how we met, I don't know, a while ago, a year and a half ago. So it's great to be friends with him. And tell me a little more about SVVR, maybe some of the people that you met, or how was that experience for you?
It was a really great experience. I got to talk to a lot of people that I have never met before. I'm fairly new to the VR scene socially, so it was only my second VR event, and people were really cool. I have some friends that I know in VR that I got to see and hang out with, but I got to meet a lot of new people, and it was really great. There's so many cool experiences there.
I'm shooting on my MacBook.
And just wanted to, this is your video talking about SVVR, and thought I would throw it up real quick and kind of promote your YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel is also, your name, Ela Darling, so people can tune into you there.
Very long time.
Thanks.
Some people on YouTube, and I've gotten so many messages from you guys asking me to post again.
And
that
such a
here
cutie.
we are. Hi. Hey guys. Did you miss me? I sure missed you.
So let's dive into
So
talking
what's going
about
on?
VRTube.
I'm making virtual reality
after I kill this video.
which is really effing cool. Basically, I'm shooting
Wait, what?
performers as...
Sorry, multitasking. We're trying to kill the video, but it won't go away for me. So let's see here. Let's talk about...
Stopped.
Oh, good. It's just showing for me, so that's always fun. VRTube. This is your...
Oh no!
No!
No, Gunter!
Woohoo!
Everybody dance party.
This really doesn't
Dance
happen
party.
like this often, Ella.
Seriously, this is.
Yeah, this is the
Yay, 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 he's
There
back!
it is.
Okay.
Of course.
Tell me about VRTube and your project.
VRTube, we started out doing 180 video, like many porn companies you may have seen, and then we tried doing 360 video, 360 3D, which just sucks. It is terrible. For porn, anyway. It's like you don't get anything you want from it. So I ditched that very quickly, and James and I have been working, James is my business partner, and we've been working making holographic porn. We launched our site officially in February, I think, with some holograms, and I just had my friends, my porn friends, do stuff with me. And yeah, so we shoot holographic porn. It's shot with a Microsoft Kinect, and we, so we record a hologram of a performer, and then we place her in a 3D rendered environment. And then we moved on. We made a dating simulator, a very, very quick build of a dating simulator, which was fun. But then we decided that VR camming was totally where it's at. So in about a month, my partner James created this really cool VR cam software, and we launched exactly 1 week ago with the, as far as I know, the first 3D VR cam stream, especially in porn.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make that. I heard great things about it, and I can't wait to get a ticket to the next event. And I've been on a date with you. I'm not sure if you're aware, but of course I've tried the various holograms. That you call them holograms, right?
Yes, and darling, I had a great time. You were wonderful.
Oh, I'm blushing. So yeah, I heard great things about your live cam show, and that the tech has evolved. And let me just read a couple of the comments on Reddit. They were pretty impressed. Righteous Oxide said, highly impressed. The 3D video quality was surprisingly good. No technical problems after updating Flash. The fact that it was happening live made all the difference in the world. It was lower fidelity, but so much more real than the VRP video and 3D game. Having a live person on the other end who feels almost in the same room, who listens and answers, it was amazing. And that's really exciting. I had a bunch of people come into VR chat last week after your show and just were raving about it. Tell me a little bit about moving into the live show space and the tech involved with that.
That's nice of them. Yeah, I'm sorry I ended up scheduling it like at the same time as your show, and I felt like a big old jerk for that, so sorry about it. But it was fantastic. It was really exciting. I used to cam at a studio, and I've cammed with my friends before, but this was unlike anything I've done before. It was just so it was really cool engaging with people in the VR community in that way and actually talking to people who are excited about what we were doing. We've been working on it for like 6 weeks now, and we have a lot of really big plans for it. It's startling to me how quickly it moves along. I'm excited to show you guys the next version of it and just how far it's come in like a week. It's really cool. But yeah, we realized a while ago that what we want to do is address the issue of loneliness in people's lives through VR. And I can't think of a better way to do that than connect people one-on-one with actual humans.
Please group up at the spawn.
You could disregard that. Nobody needs to group up at the spawn. That's awesome. We have all kinds of fun things here in VR chat. Yeah,
Sounds
so
like.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Let me throw up. The screens are not going to do the images justice. They're not going to display them correctly. But there was an image gallery in the Reddit post, and maybe we'll be able to get kind of a glimpse of what it was like for those that couldn't attend.
I think our friend Testes took one of these. He's right here.
All we can see is your head, unfortunately. But that's not enough, so people will have to go and check out the live show. Our screens here are formatted for a certain size of video, and I didn't get to try it before, and I'm always wanting to throw up pictures and other things, but we're not quite there technically, so good try, but no.
I feel
will
ya.
switch things back to my video thing, and while I'm doing that, what challenges have you ran into while you have been pursuing this VR porn stuff?
Well, the biggest challenge was that my business partner and I lived really far apart for a while. And so just the basic process of going through and like I would shoot a hologram here now that we can have an office together, and from the time we shoot to the time we finish editing audio and everything, if everything's running smoothly, and to where we could have it up on the site, it's less than a week. But before, because I have a very busy schedule because I'm still shooting, I'm still performing, and I have a lot of other things that I do in LA. So like it would be like a month before we could have a hologram set finished, if we even decided to use it. So that's something that has been really awesome to move past because he finished school and now he's in LA, and that's why things have been really moving forward really quickly, I think.
I see. And so we can expect things to keep moving very quickly, and there's definitely a need of what you do in our community, and you can tell there a lot of people have showed up to this event tonight, so there's a lot of attention here, and I'm really happy to see.
Oh no.
Well, I really am glad you all came.
Yay!
It's been a great show so far.
Oh, yay!
One of the more interesting.
Okay, I'm back. So there's a few things plaguing me. I just got a new video card and kind of have things set up new, and you know how anything new with technology is just bound to break. And beyond that, I live in an RV and I travel around, and this location that I'm in is kind of sort of out in the middle of nowhere, and the connection is just a little not where it needs to be. So I apologize.
That's pretty fucking punk rock, though.
Oh, thank you. I love punk rock. I'm pretty metal at times. So, my next question was going to be, what does the porn industry think about VR? Have you talked with folks about what you're doing in your industry?
The porn industry seems a little bit torn. They either think it's a passing fad, or they are really excited about it and they want to get into it in some degree. More and more companies are embracing it every day, and I've heard of many more companies than you actually see on the market right now producing content, and I can't say who they are, but like I have friends tell me anytime someone that I know does anything in VR with another company, they like report back to me and tell me, you know, what it was like and how it went and everything. So there are a lot that are actively embracing it. They're just not necessarily putting it out yet or deciding where they stand. But I think more and more will as months go by, especially after the CV1 comes out. I think and as more VR consumer technology hits the market, and as it hits the general public outside of the enthusiast and hobbyist market, I think the porn company's going to have to, or the porn industry's going to have to. And people are excited about what I'm doing. Like, a lot of people in porn are really excited about the work that we're doing because they want to follow in the footsteps. They just don't have the tech team or the devs or whatever to really take that jump. And it's hard to move from one area in porn to another if you've already established yourself and you have a consumer base, and you still have to cater to them at the same time.
Right, and I can imagine that this can breathe some new life into the porn industry and bring some more money. There's definitely been with the with our technology, with the internet now, we see a lot of free porn out there, and so I'm sure that the porn industry suffers from that. But I imagine now that we can have these new, very interesting and just basically new avenues for the porn industry to make revenue. I think that they'll, that's a good thing for the industry, and I'm sure they're going to flock to that as soon as there's enough consumers.
I think you're absolutely right. They just need to know that the consumer base is there. Otherwise, it's like diving into a pool and you're not sure if it's got water in it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I was watching your set, your hologram, and very much enjoyed that. I'm sure a lot of us here have, and thank you for putting that out there. It's great stuff. Are we going to see anything more than just solo, though?
Well, there is a girl hologram featuring myself and Sin Sage, who's one of my fucking favorite people. So I try to do at least a little bit of girl, just teasy kind of stuff, from like tease to actual gentle fucking, but it's short typically. But I try to do that on most sets. We're just not focusing on holograms right now. We're focusing on the cam stuff. So once I put out more holograms, I'll start to try to expand. It's just a little difficult when we're just using one Microsoft Kinect. So once we're in a place where we're using multiples, we might, incorporate multiple women.
I see, yeah. And is maybe is your goal to become like the VR cam site? Are you going to have multiple girls coming on there, and you kind of providing the path that they can follow in and be the source, the site in which that hosts those things?
Yes, exactly. That's something that we hope to do, and it takes a little bit of training and some equipment and stuff to get performers started. So that's something that we're looking into, and we want to make sure that people are entering into it strongly so they can really maximize their time. But yeah, I would love to do that.
So yeah, we're talking about the future then of what you're wanting to do. Is there any other goals that you're reaching for, or if things were a few years down the path, a couple years later, what do you envision the future being for you in this space?
Change avatar. You got a directional light on it.
Oh, hold on one second. We have another technical difficulty. Somebody's brightening our stage.
Yeah, it's
Q, my bouncer,
having a problem.
Thank you, Mr. Q. So yeah, the future. What do you think? What are you looking forward to, and where do you see your business going?
I'd like to see everything that we're doing across all platforms, or all accessible platforms at some point. It's hard though, because it's hard for me to picture where we'll be in 6 months, because 2 months ago I wouldn't have guessed that we would be where we are right now. So but yeah.
Yeah, so what else? Let's talk about the future some more. There are certain accessories that are available to fuck yourself, fuck people through the internet. There's things like teledonics. We've all talked about that here with friends, and wanted to get your opinion on that, how that could be. Do you think that's something that you would use in this business in the future? Is there other accessories that you can tell us about that might be cool tech in this space that we don't know about? What is your thoughts about this sort of tech accessories?
I think they're fantastic, but I really haven't explored them too much myself. There are so many right now. There's so many competing for, I think, the primary place in the market that it's hard. Like, we can't really code for all of them, so we're kind of waiting to see who comes out on top. and yeah, once there's a clear winner, once there's someone clearly dominating the marketplace, then we'll probably start developing for it. But did you hear there's like a big, some patent troll is launching a bunch of lawsuits or suing Kickstarter and a bunch of other small teledildonics companies because they claim they have a patent on teledildonics?
I did not hear that.
Yeah,
Somebody's claiming that, huh?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go anywhere. It could really stifle what could be a really awesome technology.
Right. Yeah, I find that technology like that, can be used in the adult industry, but it also is great for couples, for people that have, long-distance relationships. It's a great way, to be intimate with each other, to express themselves that way. So I'm really excited about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it has infinite opportunities to connect people and bring them closer together. I find that I speak on VR panels sometimes when I talk to a lot of people and I do interviews and stuff, and a lot of the time that when I talk to someone who isn't directly involved in VR or who, I don't know, one thing that comes up a lot is whether VR porn and VR in general is going to alienate people and like end real relationships because it's all in virtual reality, so no one's ever going to leave their house again and they're just going to have friendships that are only through VR and the, things are going to be horrible. And I think this is a really key example of how it can just really supplement existing relationships, and you can make new relationships just like you do on the internet. They become very intimate and real and translate into real life. But this is specifically something that I think kind of proves that point.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that a lot. I mean, we hear the same thing, right? Like VR is going to suck people in and make them antisocial and all of that sort of thing. But look at us here. There's 40 of us in this room doing a talk show where we are being very social. Afterwards, we party down, get to know each other. On Sundays, we have a weekly meetup here, and just I've met so many friends, Reverend Kyle, many other people that you may have met at SVVR. People from around the world. A lot of Europeans are here tonight. I even met Hazar or Cyclops over there in VR chat, and it turns out he lives in, or doesn't live here, but he's staying in the area 15 minutes from me, and this is not a big town at all. So we met up, had a beer. So it's really, really interesting. I think the internet's allowed us to connect with so many people, and I don't see why VR wouldn't enable that. It just enables it to be even more rich.
I absolutely agree. And that's really cool that you guys met and then got to hang out, like, for real. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we got very intimate with each other, actually.
No!
Record it!
So let's see. What do you think? So, I mean, I'm kind of on the future talk, and I've thought before of, like, really trying to project how VR is going to affect porn, and I'm thinking about homemade porn, and so someday we're going to be able to make our own VR porn in our house, and share that or whatever we want to do. I find that to be interesting, and it kind of brings up certain, issues of then homemade porn, VR porn being stolen, and just that whole thing, and being found by your kids on accident, or being found after you pass away, or something like that. So, I don't know, I've kind of projected some of my thoughts in there. I don't know if you've thought about things like that.
So if your kids find that your parents did porn, is there really any greater proof that your parents had sex than the fact that you exist to watch their porn? Like, what is the problem? Yes, you fucked. There's record of it. You're not, like, spoiler alert, you have a child. Everyone knows you fucked. Who cares?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess what I'm thinking is, like, how, like, maybe you're a kid and you don't want to see that or something, and so you've discovered it and you're in VR, and it's just that much more rich. You're like, oh my god, it's like seeing them, in person. Just
that sounds horrifying.
Yeah, exactly. The experiences are much more rich, so it could lead to things like that, and I've thought that's, some crazy shit.
That's probably going to happen, and that's a bummer, and I hope that the kids who that happens to, I hope they can handle it, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm very optimistic. We're not there yet, but I feel like as we move into the future, people are going to be a little less prudish and a little less, anal about people being naked on the internet, especially in virtual reality. Like, I mean, the theft issue is going to be an issue. As long as there's porn, people are going to try to steal it. People are always going to feel entitled to porn in some way. We can try to avoid that so that we actually have a porn industry still. But in terms of finding, like, people are going to find porn. I think it's really important to emphasize to people as they get into porn that if they don't want someone to see it, like if you're doing porn and you don't want your boyfriend to see it, don't do porn. If it's going to end everything for you if some certain person sees it, you shouldn't do it. You should always operate under the assumption that this is going to be seen. This is a lifelong decision. It closes immediately a lot of doors. The ones that stay open I think are way more fun and more interesting, but don't get naked on camera if you're not okay with people seeing it. And that's going to apply just as much in VR as it does outside of VR.
I think those are wise words. So I've got a kind of funny video here. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it is kind of popular. It's sort of envisioning somebody getting caught masturbating in the future. So let's roll it.
Brendan, dinner's ready. Did you hear me, sweetie? Brendan?
Oh, yeah.
Brendan?
Mom! What are you doing? What? I'm not doing anything! What? Just close the door! I'm not... What are you doing? Why are you in here? This is my room! You can't be in here, Mom! I'm just not even... Look, I'm not doing anything! It's not what it looks like. It's not what
Totally
you think
gonna
it
be
is.
me
I'm just,
in like
I was
5
doing
years.
a project for school.
My wife's
Yeah,
gonna come
it's a
in.
school project.
That was you
I
yesterday.
realize.
I wouldn't even
I wasn't
worry about
watching
this.
Ela
It's
Darling
definitely
again. No,
not a
no,
thing.
honey.
I was talking to Mark. I was just chatting with Mark, and I think he got a virus or something because he doesn't usually do this.
Ela, have you seen this before?
Initiating Sexperience.
Hey there.
Our user, Brandon.
I haven't. This is amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry. This is not. Look,
Sexperience failed. No points allotted.
look, it's not even a thing. I was just doing some research. I was doing rehearsing. I was rehearsing for the school play. I have a big role. We open on Tuesday, and I wouldn't look. You just don't have to worry about this, Mom. Just please, I'll get dinner later. I'm just hanging out. I was just doing some research. I was just reading the news. I was playing a video game. I was playing my new video game.
Hey there.
New user.
I don't know what that
ready
is.
to
I don't know what that
play?
is. I'll see you later.
That was fucking amazing.
I think with all his explanation, he didn't get busted. What do you guys think?
Not at all. I think he was.
She suspected nothing.
Like, actually, you know, when I first saw it, I was actually wondering a bit, but then he gave a pretty clear explanation. I kind of believe him, so...
Yeah, I think it was a project. I wonder what class it was for. I'd buy it.
Me too. I'm glad you haven't seen that. It seems that a bunch of people haven't, so I'm glad to share that with you all. Alright, so let's talk about some of your other works, just beyond VR. There's this really cool thing I found on, shoot, I forget what's the channel that Boss Bitches of History is on?
Wisecrack.
Wisecrack, yes. Very cool shows there. Tell us about that and how you got involved in that project.
It's a really cool project. I'm very proud of it. I worked on it with my friend Sovereign Sire, who is also an adult performer, and she and I both have master's degrees. And Wisecrack reached out to us to do an academic show from kind of a feministy or female-ish perspective. They kind of left it open to us to decide what to do with it. So we decided to talk about Boss Bitches of History, and that's what the show's called. And we dress up in frilly dresses, and it's like we have a little tea party, and we speak very crassly about different women in history. We started with 4 episodes, but they put up 2 of them, but they kind of shit-canned after that because their audience wasn't super into it, which is a bummer. But Sovereign and I, it sucks, but these things happen. Sovereign and I are definitely looking to work together on a similar but different project. We're going to be going into some writing meetings, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So that's okay. It was really cool, but we're going to do cool stuff still. And yeah, I fucking love it, man.
Well, I want to extend the invite that you're both welcome to come here and tell all about Boss Bitches and educate us on history.
Fuck yeah, man. Did you know that Amelia Earhart used to be an editor for Cosmo magazine?
No.
Did not.
When did Cosmo go so? Well, I don't want to talk shit about Cosmo. They're very nice. They're really good to me. Sorry, never mind.
Fuck Cosmo.
Anyway, yeah, Boss Bitches is really cool.
So, so you have a love for history then. You were a librarian, so I imagine that you love to read. Is that correct?
I do love to read. I'm really into history. I'm just really into learning. I like learning things as much as possible. So that's, I mean, I was kind of I did a lot of research for that project, and it's just fun having like a topic to go after. I used to be a reference librarian, and a couple of other things, but the best part of it was it was like every day was a crossword puzzle with random questions from like spanning all topics, and yeah, I loved it.
So what are some of your favorite books?
Well, Harry Potter, obviously. I have the Dewey Decimal Number for Harry Potter tattooed on my back. Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett is definitely high on my list.
Good take.
Fuck yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, The Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah, lots of things. Lots of
I love
books.
Hitchhiker's Guide. We're actually Cubed Paradox. He's to your right. He put together a Hitchhiker's Guide world and shared it with us on Sunday. He just started it and he's going to continue to develop it. What's the name of that space? I forget, Cubed.
I think it's in VRChat. It's HHGG, just abbreviated Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right on.
That's awesome. That's really cool that you did that.
We've got a great community here, and of course we're all a bunch of geeks and nerds, so a lot of the stuff that we're creating is in line with all of that, and we get to share it with each other. Kind of, this is my universe. I'm expressing myself, doing my thing, but everybody else, can create their own universe here, or their world, express themselves, and they certainly do that. So it's just awesome here.
Seems like a great place.
Let's roll the Boss Bitches video, just because it's super cool. I just want to watch a little bit of that.
The ancient world was a shitty place for women, unless you were the original boss bitch Cleopatra, who used her charm, wit, and sexiness to manipulate all the horn dogs around her and climb her way to the
Hope
top.
YouTube doesn't flag me for this.
She ruled Egypt with her douchey brother, Ptolemy XIII. They were married, which was the custom at the time, and apparently no one thought that was gross. Like any modern marriage, they were always fighting and never fucked. It was a constant power struggle between siblings fighting for control of Egypt, but Cleopatra was not a woman to turn up her toga and run. Enter Julius Caesar, who had the Jack Nicholson paradox of being incredibly sexy, yet cursed with a heinous comb-over. Et tu brutal. So when Caesar rode into town, Ptolemy tried to start a bromance by cutting off the head of one of his enemies and delivering it to his door like he Amazon Primed it. Everyone loves getting head, right? Well, this blew up in Ptolemy's inbred face. While Caesar thought the guy Ptolemy killed was a douche, this was a little too Glenn Close for comfort. Instead of throwing down, Caesar was totally skeeved out. Cleopatra used Ptolemy's dumbass move to her advantage. One night, Cleo snuck into Caesar's camp rolled up in a carpet. Do you think her carpet matched the drapes? A Roman never does. They say Cleopatra was fluent in 7 languages. One of them must have been the language of love. She bossed and tossed that Caesar salad because Caesar was backing her claim to the throne before his toga even hit the floor. And what happened to Ptolemy? He wound up accidentally drowning in the Nile. Cleopatra didn't take shit from anyone and even had her own sister executed for siding with Ptolemy. So gangster. 9 months later, Cleo ties it down by giving birth to the air region of Egypt. So how'd Cleo lock down power? War games? Negotiations? Land sacrifice? Nah. Her By all accounts, Caesar...
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. Everybody else can go to look that up and watch that.
That's very good.
Lol, toaster salad.
That was so much fun. I shot a 360. The one time I really gave it the old college try with shooting 360 3D porn, I shot with Sovereign, and I'm really bummed that I used her on a project that we just didn't dig the 360 3D, and I'm gonna have to bring her back to do a cam show or something because she's so sexy.
Very hot. Cosplay. So we saw you in a fun dress there, and I have a feeling, I think from some of the pictures I've seen on your Twitter, that you enjoy cosplaying, right?
I do. I cosplay as Batgirl and Luna Lovegood, and I change a little bit every year. Raphael from Ninja Turtles.
Okay, so a couple of things. First is, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle, which I think you might have just answered.
No way, it's Michelangelo. I had such a crush on Michelangelo when I was a kid.
Michelangelo is my favorite as well. And that was one of the questions I had towards the end of the show and sort of the later on question, but you brought it up, and I should always ask that of every guest, and I sort of forget about that. But
I mean, it's a pretty expected question, really.
Yeah, I think if we took a poll in the audience, I just have a feeling most of them are going to say Donatello. It's just kind of a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Michelangelo.
Need a straw poll. So
can my answer be soup?
Soup? He's always got to bring up food in VR chat, and then I get hungry. Crying's actually awesome. Anyways, so does that mean you're into comic books then?
Yeah, I'm into comic books. There's only a few that I read these days. I'm really into a series called Sex Criminals. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's a really fantastic series about a chick who is a librarian who can stop time when she masturbates. She and her gentleman friend, and it's about their experiences. It's really, really great.
Sounds amazing. Stops time when she masturbates. Or
just has an orgasm. But yeah, it's really great. And let's see, I just picked up Jonan Vasquez's new Invader Zim. He has a new comic book, if you know who that is. He did Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Squee and I Feel Sick. But yeah, so he's writing Invader Zim comics. Or he wrote the first one. I'm not sure if he's writing all of them, but that was really cool.
Yeah, I love the cartoon. Never picked up the books, but that's fucking awesome. Other cool geek things that I think I've come across. You've played D&D and have enjoyed that. When's the last time you played D&D?
It's been for fucking ever. I missed a game on Sunday because I was busy doing some very expensive lingerie shopping, which ran late. And the previous few times, let's see, one day I was launching VR Cam, so that was a week ago, they had a game, and then before that I was speaking on a panel at SoCal VR, so I missed a game then. So it's been like 2 months or something. It's fucking atrocious. I feel horrible. I even bought really pretty new dice at Comic-Con, and I haven't gotten to use them yet.
May I pose a question to the entirety of everyone here? Have we worked on anything to do with tabletop in VR chat? Because I could totally see a nice and proper actual, like a QM spot, everything, all that, actually playing D&D
well, we certainly,
or some version. Yeah.
We all would love this, that sort of thing in VR chat, and yeah, I think we have talked about it. Just getting a random number generator, just having some dice, I think we could have a lot of fun just with that mechanic to start.
Yeah.
Dude, a lot better than a current tabletop game of Slap the Cat.
Everybody wants to play D&D with you, Ella.
I rolled seduce.
What is your I think I saw your chaotic, I don't know, chaotic neutral or
chaotic good.
Chaotic good, and what class and what's your character's name, or dying to know.
Oh, I just identify personally as chaotic good. My character is a half-elf rogue charlatan named Baywin. It's pretty cool. We're playing A Red and Pleasant Land, which my DM, whose name is Zach Smith, he wrote that. He also, I think, was an advisor or something on the latest edition. But he's an incredible artist and a really great DM and a really great writer. If you play D&D, I encourage you to pick up the book. It's fucking beautiful. I think it just won a bunch of awards at some gaming conference.
Awesome, and a few more geek-related questions. I think you're winning over all the hearts of us folks here. Favorite video games? Anything.
It's been a long time since I played video games regularly. I am not much of a I'm not that kind of gamer, but so in my heart will always be Zelda, because my mom is a huge Zelda nerd, and like some of my first memories are like playing Zelda with her. So Zelda always. Resident Evil. I have a zombie tattoo on my leg because of like old school, middle school, hanging out with my best friend in middle school and playing. We would just lock ourselves up for a week, and we would drink Slim Fast so we wouldn't have to leave the room to stop playing video games, and that was our favorite. And now, yeah, and now there's one called Until Dawn for the PS4, and it's fucking awesome. It's so cool. My friend Wes, who has a really cool Twitch channel, he's going to be getting it really soon, I think, and so he invited me to come over and play with him, so I'm going to do that probably as much as I possibly can.
So Slim Fast is basically the original Soylent.
Exactly.
You're pioneers. You're pioneering many things, though. That's amazing.
Do you drink Soylent?
I don't. I actually ordered it, but they were taking many months to get it out to me, and then I asked them just for a refund, so did not get to do that.
Yeah, their delivery times are a lot shorter now, but sometimes they still have glitches. I think it's really good with cinnamon and honey. My business partner is really into it.
That's awesome. I'm sure I'll get into it later. I'm going to need it when CV1 hits, I think.
Exactly.
That and the catheter.
Okay. Yes. Or my seat will just be a toilet. Anyways, favorite sci-fi movies?
Original Tron. Early Star Trek movies. Much of the TNG. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've watched movies, which is horrible. I just don't have the attention span for it anymore.
Yeah, I don't watch as much either. I'm kind of the same way. I'm always multitasking, and I'm picking up on the wavelength. Like, this set's inspired by Ghost in the Shell, but also very much Tron-like, and the guy that I'm wearing here, this avatar, is not original Tron, which I'd love to have, but it's the newer Tron Legacy avatar modded for my liking here. So yeah, love that stuff. And even that intro that you heard earlier is basically riffing off Star Trek.
Yeah, of course.
Having the VR chat's the next frontier for us. So yeah, right on.
Live long and prosper.
I saw on Twitter you describe yourself as a space fairy. What does that mean?
I don't fucking know, man. I'm spacey and weird, and people, whenever they describe how I look, they usually use, like, elfin or sylphic, or, like, they use words that basically mean fairy, so I just embraced it. I don't know. It's not really anything real.
Got it. Ock blocked. I heard you say Ock block, like, you're glad that Oculus is an open platform, so you don't get cocked block from developing on it, and then you kind of shorten that to Ock block, and I think that's awesome.
I'm glad that you appreciated that. Good portmanteau usage, I think.
And just a few more things, getting into a little bit personal. You can, decide to answer what you want. How did you get started with porn, and what was basically your first experience?
I had been modeling since I was 18, and I was a librarian at this point, and I got my degree very young. I was 21 when I finished grad school, and I was 22 when I was the associate director of a library, and it was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, but I didn't want the rest of my life to start at 22. So I started exploring different modeling things, and I did like a fetishy, it was porn, but it wasn't nude. It was just like hardcore bondage and pantyhose fetish, just to see what it was like, because my only perceptions of porn were really negative, and it was based on like ignorance, and I wanted to gain experience of like actually understand it instead of just have pointless feelings. And I actually really liked it. It was great. The people I worked with are still really good friends of mine. And then I did my first nude photo shoot, and then I decided to put the two together. I was making pretty... just a sec.
Phone's blowing up.
Sorry about it. But yeah, so I just decided to do the two together, and it turned out really great. I was making more money in an hour than I made in a day at the library, and this was like outside of Boston, so I figured if I moved to LA, I could do it full-time or part-time even, and be as well off and be just as fine as I was working full-time in a library. So yeah, I moved to, after 1 full year at the library, I moved to Los Angeles to do porn, and I did, and it was really great. It's been almost 6 years now.
Fantastic. I always wanted to do porn, but I didn't attempt it. I look like Rob Zombie, so maybe some girls would dig that. But yeah, maybe
Nice.
maybe VR porn, right? That makes sense for me.
Do it.
So what's your major? What college did you go to?
I went to the University of Texas at Dallas for undergrad, and my major was forensic psychology, which is basically criminology or criminal justice or whatever it is at your school, and psychology. And then I got a master's degree in library and information science from the University of Illinois. Melville Dewey founded my grad school of the Dewey Decimal System.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I thought you might have been from Texas based on another tattoo that I saw of yours.
Yeah, I have a little Texas tattoo. I got it when I moved out of Texas, but I love Texas.
How did you choose your name?
That is an excellent question. My name is derived from several different sources. So Zelda Fitzgerald was F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife. He wrote The Great Gatsby. So part of it is Zelda, but I didn't want to be Zelda because of SEO and because people would think I'm a video game character. So I took the E and the L and the A from that. That's why I only have one L. And then there's also Wendy Moira Angela Darling from Peter Pan, and I really liked her. And then there's this really not very well known, but really I think good young adult series that starts with floppy firsts, and it was really big. Like when I was in library school and when I was a librarian, like I worked with teenagers, and so that was one of my favorite things to like talk about with my teens and stuff. They were really into it. So the main character's name is Jessica Darling, and there's this ongoing joke through the whole series about how there's a porn star named Jessica Darling, and people get it confused. So I thought it'd be funny to take that. The author of the books didn't think it was as funny as I did, but that's okay.
Oh, that's awesome. You really do need to, and I hope you can, stick around after the show. We have a couple places I think that you would love to check out. Evolved Ant, if he wouldn't mind, there's this great Disney experience that he's been working on, and he has some great Peter Pan avatars. So it just hit me when you were kind of talking about some of the love for Peter Pan, and we also have a cool nightclub-ish thing that we want to take people to celebrate K-Dog. He's the guy running cameras right now. It's his birthday at midnight, so happy birthday, K-Dog.
Happy birthday, K-Dog!
Thank you. Man.
So we're going to take him to the Gentleman's Club, and so we'd love to have you come with us and hang out. And if you can't, don't tell me, just lie to me, and just somehow randomly disconnect, and we'll just never know.
That sounds super awesome. I've never been to a VR Gentleman's Club.
Woohoo! Most people haven't. I actually got the experience on my birthday, which is a few weeks ago. So before we do enter, I do need to check IDs, and I will be doing so after the show. A couple more. Are you married?
Legally, technically, I think still yes.
All right. Well, we won't go there then. And I'm sure this is a common question. What do your parents think?
My parents are so supportive and so wonderful, and they're proud of me no matter what I do. I mean, I fucking got a master's degree when I was 21. They're going to trust me to make the best decisions for myself, and they're going to trust that if I'm doing it, I've thought it through, and I'm not just, like, I don't know, rolling dice and deciding. I don't know. They have utter faith in me, and they're very supportive and very very proud of me. I mean, I've done a lot of cool shit, and they are excited that I'm happy and that I'm doing well, and they're proud to watch my progress. They're really just fucking amazing people.
Oh, and I forgot
They
to...
watch your progress? Oh.
No, no. I think they'd be traumatized. But they see me in magazines, not adult magazines, but like in Wired, and they see the Vice documentary, and they see that I'm getting a lot of mainstream attention, and they understand the weight of that in the adult industry. Like, to get mainstream attention when you're working in the adult industry is especially cool, and they appreciate that.
Awesome. So we're gonna have time for audience questions here. So everybody get their questions, ready, and let's not all talk at the same time when I open that up. But why don't you go ahead and I'd like to know where people can follow your stuff and also find your porno as well. Where can people purchase that, or is it available anywhere else?
My porn is pretty much all over the place. My stuff that I've created myself and with my friends is on my clips for sale, which if you go to darlingela.com, that's darling ELA, there's a link to it. But go to vrtube.xxx for the good stuff. vrtube.xxx/live is our cam. And that is going to be happening very soon. We're going to have the next stream very soon, and probably a regular schedule soon after that, and then hopefully expand to incorporate more performers at the same time later down the line. But vrtube.xxx, on Twitter, we are vrtubexxx is our Twitter, and I'm at Ela Darling, ELA Darling. But yeah, you pretty much find everything going on in my life from my Twitter. I am a bit of an oversharer.
Oh my God, I learned a lot about you by looking through your Twitter. It's wonderful. I still haven't made it through, so I'm going to continue looking later tonight. Question time. Please ask some questions. Just whoever got a question, say your name and go ahead and ask a question.
Sure. Hi there, I'm Artemis, and I'm asking something just in the moral range, because just talking with you, obviously, there is just no kind of real bounds with, talking about sex. What is it? What about it? It's a biological process. It happens. You can't exactly avoid this subject. So, since I'm living in America right now, I'm noticing a lot in schools around the area. I just guess in general education, there is this kind of effort, almost, to avoid talking about sex, which just seems utterly weird. So I'm wondering what your feelings are on things like sex education and how you can actually see virtual reality actually helping with that kind of thing, because we just saw that video of what happens when you get caught watching VR porn. I'm just wondering how much it's actually gonna help in any way with just, I guess, general education, and how you could see the education around sex being improved upon in the United States.
God, I kind of really want to make a VR sex education video, but I feel like the nature of my work would make people not take it seriously, or take it super seriously. I don't know. That's now on my list of things to do. It's really sad to me, especially in the South. I mean, I went to high school and some middle school in Texas, and the way that people talk about sex, the way it's treated, the way young people are educated about sex is just atrocious. It's just not constructive at all. It doesn't help. And there's this weird anti-sex atmosphere and just this whole attitude that I feel like is slowly going away and slowly decreasing. I really hope VR can contribute to all kinds of education topics, but especially if we can improve sex education through VR, then fucking awesome, because you're right, it's horrible, it's so bad. The way that kids are given just complete misinformation or no information, or they're so condescended to. When you have real questions about sex in school, you're treated like, I don't know, like some kind of horrible sinner, at least in Texas, and I should never feel that way because I'm not at fucking church, and fuck you. Like, this is a school and they should educate, and they're working so hard not to. Not teachers, but, just in general. it's atrocious.
You could have your own room here and do your sex ed training from an avatar in virtual reality. Just something came to mind.
That sounds very cool. I
Okay,
wonder.
Oh, sorry.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I got
Go for it,
Alright,
Dave.
who wants to go for it? All right, I have
No,
a
go for
question.
it, Dave.
Please forgive me if you already answered this question because I had to take off my mic a few times. I mean my headset. But is VR porn lucrative? Are people paying for it?
People are paying for it, and when we did our stream last week, there were a lot of comments in the stream and afterwards and privately also that from people who say that they just don't pay for porn, they're not interested in paying for porn, that's just not really how they consume porn, but they would absolutely pay for this experience. And I find that people who would otherwise perhaps not buy porn are compelled to buy VR porn because it's just bigger. For us, you have to have a special player for it. And the cost, I feel like, is low enough where people are happy with it to where they're willing to pay for it. So it's been going very well. I think this is something that people are happy to pay for because it's so unique and it's so different, and there's just not a lot out there like that.
So currently, could somebody make a living doing VR porn?
Not at this juncture. Well, it depends. It depends on how you approach it. I think most companies are still in a place where they're recouping what they've invested. We did not invest very much though, which is why most of our experiences, we have free demos, like the dating simulator. We just made it for free just for the sake of doing it. It doesn't really cost much because my business partner is our developer. He's a genius coder. He can do like all this stuff very quickly on his own. So we're not expending a lot of money on things, but it also kind of lets us find our path. If you're already trying, like if you don't have a lot of experience in porn or and VR at the same time, then I feel like it's early enough to where you could take the 180 approach and be successful with it. But yeah, I think the problem is that a lot of porn companies, outside of Naughty America basically, most of the VR porn companies are tech companies who are trying to get into the porn space. And that's a lot harder and it's a lot more expensive than if you're coming from porn and you're one of our own. People are a lot more eager to help you and work with you and make deals with you and stuff like that. So I think it's going to happen soon where it's going to be a very viable living for a lot of people. But right now, you either have to be willing to invest a lot and slowly recoup it, or just kind of do something easy, or maybe team up with an existing company. I don't know.
Thanks, Dave. I think I heard Nuke.
VR Triple X.
What's up, dude?
Moderator of a Triple X VR site subreddit. Yeah, so the question is, again from Texas, so I understand the repressed sexuality of that area, Southern Baptist type setup. Also your point about making money for VR porn, I think the reason why it can make money is the same reason people still pay to go to strip clubs. It's a lot more personal, interactive experience. That's the reason why cam girls can get tips that even porn stars are starting actually getting less and less pay. My question then is also, you mentioned that you did 360 3D porn, even though you didn't release the video. So I'm wondering, what are some of the technical things you're bringing to that you've experienced in your shoots that make the VR porn different than the regular porn? And also, how did y'all do the 360 3D for your porn shoot?
We used a 360 Heroes rig with 12 GoPros, and it was a goddamn nightmare. And it's 12 cameras worth of data when you only really give a shit about 2 cameras' point of view. So it was a cool space that I shot it in. I shot it in my friend's dungeon, so there's a lot of cool stuff to look at, but you don't really need to watch, you don't need to be seeing a video feed of a stationary bondage cage for 15 minutes. So it was just, it's just not a good approach, I don't think. You can't really, it's like you're watching a wide-angle shot of a porn scene for the entire porn scene without really being able to move forward or focus or zoom on genitals. So you're not seeing penetration, you're just seeing 2 people fuck and not acknowledge you, and it's uncomfortable. I love voyeurism, I think it's sexy as fuck, but not the right kind of voyeurism. It just feels weird. It's just not a great experience. And I hated shooting on that rig. We also made one by hand from some foam core and some gummy bear duct tape with like little gummy bears on it and like a tripod mount. It's adorable. I fucking love it. But again, fuck 360. I'm over it. How is it different? It's entirely different. It's as different from shooting regular porn as TV is from stage productions. It's the entire approach, the entire narration style. It's all different. When you're recording a story, or when you're recording, when you're capturing for future distribution, everything is different. The way that you look at the camera, the way you do the sound, like everything is just different. Technologically different. If you're kind of doing it, if you're taking an easier approach, you're still dealing with 2 different cameras and 2 different feeds and a shitload more post-production work. And if you're the performer and you're shooting that, my first VR porn scene that I shot, we did it on 2 GoPros, 180 in James's dorm room, and I didn't really know how it's going to go down. So I go in and they show me where I'm going to be camming, or where I'm going to be recording, and then they leave the room. So there's not even a director in the room to tell me what to do, which really makes it difficult. Like, I was fine because I've done this shit before, and I knew kind of what they were after, and they were really happy with what I did. But I've worked on enough porn scenes. So many performers are basically teenagers without any production experience, without any recording. Like, they haven't really done much. And they're not there because they're great actors. They're not there because they know how to run a scene. They're there because they're willing to fuck. So one big challenge is that if you're shooting 360, if you're shooting a very broad 180, if you can't have a director in the room telling them what to do, it's very challenging. And you can't really cut. You can't like pause her, tell her, him or her or them, whatever. You can't pause them and give them guidance halfway through the scene, because editing and cutting is just really trippy and really weird, and it's not great in VR, I feel like. So there's just so many challenges to it. I mean, even when I'm recording holograms, there are times when I shot a very new performer, and like, I didn't realize how many things I needed to explain to her, because I didn't realize how much, like, I've forgotten how much is just not common knowledge in porn. Like, sometimes I forget that the whole world doesn't do porn. So it was like just the small things I had to stop and explain, that if I were shooting 2D, it would be so easy. I could just pause, or I could just talk over the video and then cut or edit around it. But you just don't have that opportunity here. You don't have the same, it doesn't work the same way. And so if you approach shooting this porn in the same way you approach regular porn, that's what I did with the 360 3D thing, and that's why it was terrible, because I was trying to shoot it like a regular porn, because I was trying to visualize it like a regular porn, and it's just not.
And one other follow-up was that I kind of recommend that you or James make that 3D stream that you did, the green screen stream, available for like people, VR Chat or Janus VR, and try to create a virtual environment that works great for that feed that you're actually performing on. You might be able to, instead of doing it the work of one guy, one amazing programmer, now you've got the talents of 20 amazing programmers in different areas, not just video, but in 3D reconstruction. So they can create that 3D 360 environment for your low field of view video.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. All those people have done some really great work in VR.
Great question, Nuke. All right, let's keep it going.
I got one.
I'm sorry, I can't disassociate you from that.
Yeah, I got a technology question.
Yeah, go for it.
So with the 360, you know, it does give you the three-dimensionality, but it's kind of pixelated. It's not the same thing as a video. The video is like very high quality, like much more realistic, like lifelike. So how do you get the best qualities of both those attempts, so that something is like super realistic, high resolution, lifelike, and you've got, you know, positional head tracking, and you can like move around, and it's just like real life?
It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time and developers, and I would not be surprised if we had it in the next year. I mean, maybe sooner. It's hard to predict how quickly these things move, but I know that it's, at this point, just a matter of probably months. I don't know for sure, but yeah, it's close.
So exciting. More questions?
Last week during your stream, have you all figured out a pricing model on the cam shows yet?
We've got some ideas that we're throwing around. Nothing that is ready to be announced, but I would imagine by the end of the week we'll have some kind of statement out, if not early next week. We're getting very close. I think we're probably going to have like a tipping system as well as like buying into a show. So it's like you would buy into a gold show and then you have the option to tip if you want to like, kind of lead the show or lead the request in the show or what have you. It'll obviously depend on how different models want to approach it. I think it's very important to let performers decide for themselves how they compose themselves on cam and what they, how they approach it. But yeah, very soon.
Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, I have
I've got
a question.
I think that was Evolved Ant. Go ahead.
So, my mom always tells me to go out and get a girlfriend. When I say where, she says, go to the library. I think this is the first time I actually agree with her. Is this typical?
The library is a fantastic place to meet people because they're literate and therefore awesome. And supporting libraries, which is basically 2 check marks in my book. Hey, if you don't have a library card, go get a library card. I do a thing at AVN every year, the porn convention, where if you show me your library card, I'll show you my tits.
Wow.
Awesome.
So yeah, go to the library, man.
It's hard when you have a library card.
I have 2 library cards.
I only have 2 tits.
I think it's funny that I was watching this particular interview and got my first date at the same time.
I don't think, Dead, if you kind of get into virtual reality porn, that you're going to be going on that date much longer. Again, it's going to turn into that, people walking in on you. I've been here for months, man. Can't escape.
Alright, we've got time for one more question before we wrap it up.
Trying to think of something inappropriate, but I can't.
Ever
What's wrong
done a
with
library
me?
scene?
I've done some that kind of implied it, but I was finally called to do a lesbian library movie, and it was the same day as the second day of SVVR, so I missed my fucking opportunity to get a SVVR.
Cool.
I do
How
have
many
one
other
technical
people
question.
chose not to fuck a porn star so they could go to a VR convention?
Last question from not Nuke Marine.
All right. So how would you think cam streaming will work in an environment like this where you do have people taking up physical space?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like either it's going to be a live stream of a actual hologram in space, but that's going to be a little ways off, or to be, and I don't know, kind of the same way that it already does, just with more people, so with more mobility, I suppose. I don't think it'll be all that different, though. I don't think it's going to be super difficult to get to that point. It's just going to take time and people.
What is meant? You were doing it where you're reading the text off screen, so you want to keep it text-based, or where you have live commenting from other people?
Probably
What's happening now?
text-based. I think that people feel a little, it feels invasive to have a bunch of other consumers talking while you're trying to beat off. Also, you guys are very respectful, but I don't know if you've ever used a cam site. People don't tend to be the most polite and respectful to each other or to the performer. So I just, I foresee disaster if we took this particular approach. And I kind of only plan on enabling mics in like private chat just to avoid stuff like that. I think it could be very off-putting for some people. But I don't know, maybe we'll give it a shot. If people like it, we just kind of try everything we can and see what people like and see what people don't. So if it turns out that people, like if you all really want to sit around here and jerk off, that's awesome. The difference is that right now, like, I'm wearing an Oculus Rift, so I mean I guess I could cam like this, but it's really not as conducive to masturbating on camera in this particular setup, from my perspective.
Yeah, that's very true. That'd be pretty weird.
VR pioneer there.
Okay, can
This works in desktop mode too.
Can I just squeeze
Yeah,
in
sure.
one more question?
Sure.
You said you filmed 180 video. Is that 3D or is that 2D?
3D.
Now you said you did that with 2 GoPros. Were they 4K or the 1080?
I think we started with Hero 2s maybe, so I don't know, man. That's a question for James, but he is possibly gone at this point. I don't know.
Okay. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. That's awesome. So it's time to wrap it up. Just a couple announcements for VR Chat. Sunday's our biggest VR Chat event day. We have a lot of things going on then. We have our weekly meetup at 6 p.m. Eastern, and that's always fun. We've been doing that for about a year and a half, and that's where a lot of us have met each other, and it just keeps growing and so cool. We're also going to be doing a theater club, an actual put on a live performance. So we've started working with Artemis and Dead Ed and a few of the others here. We're gonna have costumes and scripts and animations, and we have a theater room in the works, and so we'll be doing some rehearsals and kind of working on that after the meetup. And just want to mention that VR Chat has a subreddit, so it's reddit/r/VRChat. Some really cool resources there. And thanks to the people that helped me make this happen. You know, Dark Akuma has been upgrading the set. I really appreciate his work. Kenny's on cams. Thanks, Kenny. Olivier JT just expanded the geometry in this room. I really appreciate your help there. And always mad props to Jesse and Graham, who have created VR Chat and let us play here. And that's pretty much it. We will be partying down after this. We'll be celebrating K-Dog's birthday. And Ella, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really awesome. Thanks, guys.
That better be clapping, guys.
It's kind of hard to clap and hold down the V key at the same time.
Alright, I'm going to stretch my legs. Awesome. Awesome show.
Tron is awesome.
Great having you out, Ella. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What'd you think, Mr. Whiskers?
Yeah.
Hey, Gunter, good job. I saw like 35 people joined up.
It was 38 at one point, but yeah, we had some droppage from technical, I think. Yeah, man.
What's the record so far for VR Chat?
A lot on the birthday party. 50, 60. Actually, don't know why I can't remember. Right on.
Holy
so
crap. Look at that
I'm just
avatar.
pretty excited that the turnout, guys. I really appreciate you coming out. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Of course, we do this every Tuesday, so keep coming out. There's going to be all kinds of great guests every single week.